Y'all have answered a lot of the questions that I had about Cuba, about Venezuela, and some of the money there, so I'm going to shift gears a little bit. We were in Paraguay, and we had a conversation about, giving an example. Rio de Paraguay is a huge shipping channel from Bolivia all the way to where it runs into Rio de Uruguay and then onto the Atlantic Ocean for barges, shipping containers that make their way all around the world. But in the capital city of Paraguay, they need to do some dredging. It costs about, we heard, about $10 million estimated. You know, if you think about what a shot in the arm that would be U.S. assistance to a country like Paraguay to help with that sort of thing, that really, I think, is something that we ought to be considering when we talk about Western Hemisphere State Department budget and working with our friends and allies. We hear a lot about USAID programs, micro loans and that sort of thing, microfinancing. Just give you one example where you get a lot of bang for the buck, I think, maybe more so than $2 million dropped in Nicaragua that's got a lot of money over the years and that sort of thing. So just throw that out there. Do we give any assistance to Uruguay because they are handling the, or took the Gitmo prisoners, the Uruguay 6? Do they receive any additional funding from us for that? That's a question I don't know the answer to.
I will have to talk to the coordinator's office. I believe there was some resettlement funding provided. I don't know if it's being done on an ongoing basis.
Right. You know, they're a strong human rights defender, and there's another country that I consider we would get a lot of bang for the buck if we considered helping them in that area. They did take those prisoners. So I had a meeting last week in the office with members from the Dominican Republic, and they shared with me some ongoing efforts between Haiti and the Dominican Republic along the border. One is an economic zone, one is an energy zone, and one is a shipping zone. Does the United States play any part of that? Because I do see a lot of benefit, at least for the Haitians as well as the Dominicans, on those projects. All right, is that included? Is that USAID involvement? Is there any State Department dollars or U.S. dollars going to help Dominican and Haiti with those type programs or projects?
USAID is helping Haiti rehabilitate a port in Cap Haitian that would allow for the import of container ships. So it will ultimately be an economic incentive in Haiti because it will increase the amount of trade that they're able to do along their northern border.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do, when they were speaking last week, light bulb went off. What a great way to impact so many lives with consistent jobs, economic improvement, and it's bilateral. Is the U.S., my question, what is the U.S. and should the U.S. be partners in that in some way? Because we're giving a lot of money to Haiti to rebuild, and there's hints of corruption and hints of money not getting to where the rubber meets the road. But I can point to these projects going, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Wasteful spending in the fiscal year 2017 budget. So fiscal year 2017 request is for $324,000, 57.6% of the Pan American Institute of Geography and History budget. Priorities listed in the fiscal year 2016 budget request for the same amount of money included spending taxpayer dollars on creating an atlas of climate change in the Americas and publishing the history of America to further the concept of Americas as an interconnected unit. This seems to be a waste of U.S. taxpayer dollars when we're over $19 trillion in debt and when the region struggles with having such high rates of crime, violence, tepid economic growth, and the list goes on because the questions have already been asked. So was U.S. taxpayer assistance used last year to create this atlas and this history? Mr. Palmieri.
I will have to take that question back, sir. I'm not familiar with that specific appropriation and that program, but we will get you a full answer on how that money was used.
Okay, because I personally think that money could be better spent fighting crime, narco trafficking, helping Colombia, the things we talked about, instead of spending our taxpayer dollars creating a history that may or may not be accurate of the Americas and a climate change atlas. I don't believe my constituents would want us to see their dollars go into that. when we have drug running coming out of Central America and Latin America to the U.S. We've got issues of judicial graft and corruption in a lot of countries. You see what I'm saying? We could better spend these dollars, and it kind of reminds me of National Institutes of Health putting shrimp on a treadmill. Don't spend our tax dollars putting shrimp on a treadmill for whatever your trumped-up reason is. Let's spend them where they're effective, okay? You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I do, sir. I agree that we need to maintain our investments in the security sector, but we also are seeing an enormous drought that is affecting Central America right now. And to the extent that we can better understand the patterns of that drought, we might be able to direct more effectively agricultural assistance and other forms of development assistance so that the conditions of people who are at increased food security risk can be more quickly addressed, thereby removing a push factor for them to leave the region and their home communities. So there could be a reason why a better understanding of the impact of climate change in Central America could help us protect U.S. interests and prevent undocumented, irregular migration by more effectively directing our aid.
So what you're saying is an atlas of climate change would have predicted the El Nino effect that caused the drought in Central America that led to the migration crisis. By having that atlas, we would have been able to foresee this climate change that driving people north.
As I said, sir, I'm not familiar with the particulars of the atlas, but I do think more effective understanding of climate change in Central America could help us better direct assistance
I think
at drought
taking that money
regions.
to help with drought assistance by USAID going in after when the drought does impact the region and helping is a better use of taxpayer dollars than trying to predict the climate. The weatherman can't tell you what the climate's going to be tomorrow, and we're trying to predict climate in a region. Nobody saw the drought coming. The climate scientists didn't see the drought coming. So anyway, my time's up. Gentlemen,